Welcome back to another FC24 career mode video. Today we're talking about the things you should do in career mode. A lot of these things will be the opposite of the things you should not do videos that I made a few weeks ago now. But these are my tips and tricks and this should help you out in career mode. One thing you should do in career mode is of course download the latest squads. This is going to ensure that you have the latest player faces, the latest player stats, updated transfers, all that kind of stuff there. If there is a squad update to download, it will come up with download latest. Once you click on that, it will download. Or you can use current squads which might not be up to date and use initial squads definitely won't be up to date. So if you want all the latest manager faces, player faces, and transfers and player stats, you need to go through and download the latest update before you begin. Now, one thing you should do in career mode is, of course, play as a real manager that has an actual real face. You've got managers here like Arteta, Pochettino, Sean Dyche, and then we've got Guardiola, Eric Ten Hag. They all have real faces, which is nice to see. But then the ugly side of this is the fake faces. Look at that. Ange Postecoglou doesn't even look like him. You can put a beard on him. You can put grey hair. It's still not Ange Postecoglou. I feel like if you're going to use a manager that has a fake face, you're better off just creating your own guy. So definitely, if you're going to use this feature, use a manager with a real face. It's going to make your experience much better when you look at a real proper manager instead of seeing a manager that has the real name but the fake face. So yeah, avoid these guys. Another thing you should do in career mode is have a tactical vision for your club. There's a few to pick from. You basically have to experiment and see which one you want to use, which one works best with your team and players. But regardless, even if you pick standard, another thing you should do is hire coaches immediately. Pick the coaches that have the same sort of tactical vision as you, and obviously try and aim for as many stars as you can on the right here as well, and the knowledge to be as high as possible as well. These guys are going to boost some of your players' stats, which are going to be important on the field. You can hire as many as your budget and your staff capacity allow. And another thing you should do in this section as well is immediately check out the 5-star coach, which is a pre-order bonus. If you pre-ordered FC24, one of the bonuses was this 5-star coach here. You can see in this example, Toby West. He is an expert and he's got 5 stars for attacking, midfield, defense, and goalkeeper. So obviously you need to get this guy into your club straight away. Comes at a big salary, but it's definitely worth it. This year they removed the career mode homegrown talent and they replaced it with this pre-order bonus, and he's going to have a nice effect on player growth as well. One of the first things that comes up in manager mode as you start your season is of course the pre-season tournament. You can of course skip this, but one thing you should do if you want that extra money in the transfer budget, you should play a pre-season tournament and win it. If you don't win the pre-season tournament, unfortunately you don't make any money anymore. There's no prize money. You need to win the tournament to actually get some sort of prize money. Essentially, you need to try and win all 3 preseason games and have a decent goal difference. It looks like we won 2 games and lost 1. Let's see if we get any prize money. So it looks like we don't get any. So we didn't come first. Usually, if you came first, you would have additional funds added to the transfer budget. I think it's a little bit stupid. I think that they should still give you a bit of money like they used to before. But yeah, if you want some extra money in the transfer budget, you need to win it. Essentially, you need to get 3 wins and have a very high goal difference to actually win it. Another thing you should do on match day, if available, is attend the press conference. Do not stay home, attend the press conferences and speak to the media. Now, the reason why I'm telling you to do the press conferences is because it's a very easy and cheap way of boosting your players and team morale. At the moment, at the start of this press conference, our team going into this game has a content morale, which isn't the best. It's sort of average. The yellow shows you that. But we can boost this very easily by taking a look at the questions and answers. Essentially, you need to check out all the icons and see which one is going to boost it. In this example, all 3 are pretty positive answers, so it doesn't really matter what you pick here. Like I said, it's very easy. You don't even have to look sometimes. Just click it, and straight away we go up to a happy team morale. And now we move on to the next question, which is something about the Champions League or qualification for that. There's 3 different responses here. Each one seems to be pretty positive once again. There's no icon that tells you that it's going to be negative. So we just pick that one once again. Cheaply boosts up the morale. And we've got the last question here, which is going to be including a player. You've got that one, which is the naughty answer. Do not pick that one. That is the one that's going to negatively drop the morale for the team and player. So you should avoid that one. But then pick this one and it's going to go up to very happy for the players' morale there. So like I said, very cheap and easy way of boosting your players' morale, which is going to help you on the field. Make sure you attend the press conference. This one is also similar. Another thing you should do is attend the post-match interviews. This is another cheap and easy way of boosting your player and team morale. I know a lot of people skip this. They don't really like some of the questions. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense, but it is pretty easy to just boost your players up. Right now we've got a content morale. I think we lost the game, so we have to just pick the nice positive responses, say nice things, and the team will start to be happy. You want to avoid the naughty answer, which is that icon right there. So just play it safe by pressing those ones, and you can see how the player morale starts shooting up again. The team morale shoots up as well. And we've got the final question here. Avoid that one. That's the naughty answer. and just pick that one. So as you can see, you should do the post-match interviews because they also help boost the player and team morale. This one's also similar to post-match and pre-game interviews. You want to do the player chats as well because it does help boost the morale of your players. So a player might have a pretty bad morale and he comes to you, he asks you a question, and you just have to reply with something positive. If you do the naughty answer, which is the negative one, it's going to obviously drop his morale, which is not going to help you. So pick the positive ones and it should boost up his morale. Sometimes these player conversations, a lot of people don't look at them because they don't really make sense half the time. But if you just want to cheaply improve your player's morale, you can just pick that answer and it sort of helps a little bit. Sometimes it's not going to go to happy or very happy depending on your response, but it can still increase and it's going to help. One of the most important things you should do in career mode is check your board objectives. That number in the box there is going to decide whether you get sacked or stay with your club. For me, this is one of the most dodgiest numbers in the game because literally the other day I did a save where I just simulated and we ended up winning like 5 different trophies with Man City. You would think that that would be a very, very successful season and the board would be completely happy with my job. Nope, we had a 53 and a weak rating. Does that make any sense? I didn't fulfill some of the objectives. That's why my number was 53, even though I won everything. And of course, a few months later, the game decided to sack me because my popularity was apparently weak. So it goes to show that these board objectives are one of the most important things that you need to do in career mode, because if you don't fulfill them, the chances of you getting sacked are very high, even if you win trophies. Some things are going to be more important than others. As you know, there's high, there's critical, there's low as well. But you need to read all these and try your best to fulfill all of them. It's very, very important. Unless you want to get sacked, then obviously you don't care about this kind of stuff. Another thing you should do in career mode is play those cup games. You know those boring Carabao Cup games, whether it's the third round or the round of 16 against teams like Stevenage. You probably think, I'm going to win this game comfortably. What do I even need to play it? And you might think, now's the right time to use the quick sim feature. Or even just playable highlights, you know. I would advise you to actually play the cup games and not rely on the sims or even play highlights, because basically you're relying on EA to give you a result, which can definitely not work in your favour sometimes. Grimsby versus Sheffield, and check out the Sheffield team full of icons. My FIFA career mode team full of icons back in FIFA 20 lost 2-1 to Grimsby in the Carabao Cup thanks to the quick sim. How does that make any sense? Do not leave it up to EA to determine those cup games. At least do the visual sim to have some sort of control. Just don't go in blind because you might lose the game even when you should not on paper. A team full of icons lost to Grimsby. Can you believe that? We're going to quick sim this match here and it looks like we actually lost. Do you see what I'm talking about? These quick sims are so dodgy. EA's probably thinking, oh, this guy thinks he can quick sim this game. We're going to kick him out of the Carabao Cup. Another thing you should do in career mode is focus on signing high potential young players. You can use a site like SoFifa.com to filter out high potential young players. Basically, you put in the filters up to 18 or 19 years old, and then you can even do the potential from 84 and higher. It'll give you a list of players that fit that criteria, and these are the players that you might want to sign because they start off pretty cheap, some of them. And as you can see, this guy here, 16 years old, 59 overall, but an 85 potential, only worth less than $1 million as well. So it depends on your budget, obviously, but if you can afford it, try and pick up a couple of these guys because they're going to grow very well and they're going to be worth more in the future. So definitely focus on those young guys that have high potentials because it's going to be good business for you.